Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiryet Shravtam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantastohya Bhadrani Vidunoti Sruhasatam Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be covering Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 10, the battle between the demigods and the demons. Last class we covered the Lord incarnates as Mohini Murti, Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 9. We'll cover the very first verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 10, verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Danav Daiteya Navindannamritam Nripa Yukta Karmani Yattascha Vasudeva Paranmukhaha. Shishaka Uvacha Iti Danav Daiteya Navindannamritam Nripa Yuktaha Karmani Yattascha Vasudeva Paranmukhaha. Shishuka Uvacha. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, Iti, thus, Danav Daiteyaha, the Asuras and the demons, Na, not, Avindan, achieved the desired result, Amritam, nectar, Nripa, O king, Yuktaha, all being combined, Karmani, in the churning, Yattaha, engaged with full attention and effort, Cha, and Vasudeva, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Paranmukhaha, because of being non-devotees. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, O king, the demons and the Daityas all engaged with full attention and effort in churning the ocean. But because they were not devotees of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, they were not able to drink the nectar. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it's very important before we start this chapter to build up the context. So in the previous chapter, Shukdev Goswami at the end gave his conclusion. He identified, Shukdev Goswami, he said, Yat yujjate asu vasu karma mano vacho bhir dehatma jadishu nirmish tad asad prataktvad taireva sadbhavati yat kriyate aprataktvad sarvasya tadbhavati mula nishechanam yat. So he is identifying that yat yujjate, whatever endeavor we perform, asu vasu karma mano vacho bhir. Asu vasu refers to protection of our very being, our body, and of our things, things belonging to the self. Karma mano vacho bhir. So all actions are performed by karma, by activities. Mana is the mind, and then vachan, your words, mind, body, and words. Dehatma jadeshu. If it's oriented towards the, the body, Deh Atma, your body and the relatives and families and neighbors and things belonging to the body. So with respect to the body, not with respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's in the second half. Nirmish is activities, whatever an activity, an ability we have. Parisham Nishu, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in man. So whatever ability we have, with that ability, whatever we perform, associated with our body, with that focus that the center is our body and things related to the body. Tad asat prataktvad. Pratak is apart from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pratak is splitting away. So it's apart from Lord Krishna. If we are doing any such activity, it is asat. That activity is, asat means temporary, and Srila Prabhupada also identified that it is bad. Temporary and bad, and causes distress in the long run. Tereva sadbhavati. However, the same activity could be sadbhavati, could be eternal and very good for us. Yat kriyate aprataktvad. If it is not performed in distinction, so if it's performed for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then it becomes sat. Then it becomes all benefiting, all good and permanent. That's why devotion service is sat, right? And then he gives the example, analogy. Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat. Mula nishechanam is watering the root of a tree. Sarvasya tad bhavati. All the branches and twigs of the tree, sarvasya. The water is nicely distributed, all, to all the twigs and leaves and the branches of the tree. So when we serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, gives him pleasure, then all, the whole universe, everyone is satisfied. Everyone derives pleasure. And then, in this particular verse, he identifies that the Danavas and the Daityas. So Danavas are the demons, and Daityas are they have the demonic propensity. They are the sons of Diti. Sons of Diti are called Daityas. Yes, Srila Prabhupada said Asuras and demons, but Asuras and demons are same, and then Daityas means sons of Diti. Now, in the previous chapter, we also covered that Mohini Murti, she gives nectar to Rahu, who was dressed as a demigod sitting between sun and moon. So if I was to ask you how many demons, or how many Daityas, sons of Ditis, not demons, sons of Ditis received nectar. From demon perspective, only one demon got nectar, right? In this case. And he was only the head, because Lord Vishnu, he appeared and with his Sudarshan, he cut off his head. So only the head was immortal, the body wasn't. And so it became a virtual planet and causes lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. Lord Brahma accepts it as a virtual planet, Rahu. And since sun and moon identified him, he became their dire enemy. But there are 49 other Daityas. So in total, 50 Daityas who received nectar. And that actually becomes revealed in this particular chapter. The other 49 Daityas who received nectar were actually demigods. They were maruts. So now it is very important for us to, before we start the battle between the demigods and demons, this particular chapter, to understand the context, that when Shukdev Goswami is describing all this pastime to Parikshit Maharaj, he had previously already described as how Diti, after Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were killed, she performed great austerities under the instruction of her husband, Kashyapa Muni, and to beget a son who would kill Indra. And she was actually tricked into performing devotional service. She was actually worshipping Lord Vishnu, and just by worshipping Lord Vishnu, her heart got purified. And Indra, realizing that she is asking for a son, because Aditi informed Indra that this is what Diti is doing, so you should find a solution. So he starts serving Diti, getting the paraphernalia for the yajna, to get a son who would kill Indra. But his position was, if I get a chance, I will kill that son. And it just so happened, that's covered in 6th canto, 18th chapter, where Indra, once she goes to sleep, Diti goes to sleep without cleaning her mouth, so in an impure state. And since Indra has Ashtasiddhis, Anima, Laghima and so forth, so he becomes smaller than smallest, and he enters her womb. And there, her womb is glowing like gold, right? Molten gold, shining like gold. So he takes his Vraj. So at this particular time, he also has the thunderbolt. And he cuts that womb into the embryo, that was glowing like gold, into 7 pieces. And it turns into 7 embryos. He's amazed. And they say, why are you killing us? So he cuts each of those 7 embryos into 7 pieces. That's 49. And they turn into 49 embryos, those pieces. And he's amazed. And they're praying to Indra, we are your brothers. Why are you killing us? Why are you trying to kill us? And Indra says, if you are my brothers, that you have nothing to fear from me. And he comes out. And when Diti, she comes back, she wakes up, she sees 49 Maruts, her sons, standing with Indra. And Indra at that time reveals to her his intention was to kill her embryo, not to have a child, However, since she was purified, she also says that, she reveals that actually I was trying to get a son who would kill you. So at that time, both are purified. And these 49 Maruts, Indra takes them, and they are the demigods. So it's very nice that these Maruts were also part of the demigod, when the demigods were seated, and they also received nectar. And on the other side, demons, the other Daityas who had demonic propensity, they did not receive. Now it is very interesting that it was revealed in 7th chapter and 8th chapter earlier that all these demons, the Daityas as well, who had demonic propensity like Bali Maharaj and others. Now Bali Maharaj and all others, they were great Vedantists. They were great scholars. And actually all these Daityas who had the demonic propensity were in the previous lives devotees. So again, because of the time, we can't go to each of those. So we may visit a few of them. So they were great devotees of the Lord, and because of the curse they had received, they had taken the form of a demon, and they had appeared in this pastime. So, it's not easy to be able to battle against Lord Vishnu or the demigods, because they're actually devotees who had committed some offenses in their past lives. And so, they had to take birth as demons. So again, when Lord Vishnu, after distributing the nectar as Mohini Murti and then cutting off the head of Rahu, he left for his abode on Garud. And at that time, the Daityas and the demons, they recognized that they have been cheated. This was Lord Vishnu in the form of Mohini, and they did not get any nectar while demigods received nectar. So they immediately got their arms, their weapons out, and they decided to attack the demigods. So they decided to battle with the demigods, and as they approached with their weapons raised high, demigods, they took out their weapons as well. And a great battle ensued at this particular time. And the battle was so strong and so violent that just by hearing it is said. So the description is given at a brief level in Srimad Bhagavatam. But this battle was so amazing that even people who hear it, their hair stands on its sides. They get goosebumps. In this particular, and the battle starts with Bali Maharaj. He is referred to as the most celebrated commander-in-chief, Bali Maharaj, son of Virochana. He became the commander-in-chief of the demons' army. And Indra became and he is referred to as Balabhit. Now, this is very strange. Means when you hear Balabhit, what does it really mean? We know there is a similar term, Bhayabhit. Bhaya means fear. Bhit is one who is full of fear, who is very fearful. Now, Bala is just opposite to Bhaya. Means again, Bala is strength, Bhit, who is full of, prowess. So this is Indra is referred to as who was full of prowess and is holding thunderbolt. He becomes the commander-in-chief of the demigods. And then there is a great battle that ensued, and they fought in pairs. Now, when it is said they fought in pairs, those pairs were also same in quality as well as the abilities of individuals. Just like Mayadanav, he was fighting with Vishwakarma. Mayadanav is the scientist on the side of demons, and Vishwakarma is the engineer of demigods. So they have the same abilities, just opposite sides. So they were fighting. Shukracharya, he is fighting with, who's the guru of demigods? Vashishta. Oh, sorry, not Vashishta. Brihaspati. So Brihaspati and Shukracharya, they are fighting together. And of course, Bali Maharaj and Indra, their commander-in-chief, they are fighting with each other and so forth. So there are different pairs given. As Shumba Nishumba, they are fighting with goddess Durga. So different personalities are fighting with different personalities. Narkasura is fighting with Saturn, Shani. And Sun God. Now Sun God's reference comes twice. Sun God is fighting with Virochana. And at the same time, Sun God is also fighting with the 100 sons of Bali Maharaj. And then, however, the 100 sons of Bali Maharaj, they are headed by Bana. But Bana is fighting with someone else. So there are different times, changing their opponents. And these opponents are so strong that they are not, and soldiers, they are also fighting with the soldiers of the opposite sides. So this battle is ensuing, and what's happening is, it is very nicely described that initially it appeared like demigods have defeated the demons. And when, Bali Maharaj, means again, he starts very strong, means he shoots arrows, for Indra, for Airavat, for the Marut, the one who is riding the elephant, and then arrows for the guards of the legs of Airavat. And at that time, Indra uses very sharp arrows called Balla, and he cuts off those arrows in the path itself. So seeing this, Bali Maharaj, he takes on Shakti, and he is shooting, Shakti. But before he is able to shoot Shakti, Indra destroys Shakti when it's still on his bow. And where is Bali Maharaj? Indra is on Airavat. Now it is very nicely described that Bali Maharaj is on a Vaihasana. It's an airplane. Vaihasana. And this airplane is sometimes visible and sometimes invisible. And it's very nicely described that Bali Maharaj is in a very comfortable position. He is seated on a throne as he is fighting, as you can understand. While Indra is on top of Airavat, he has so much struggle to do. And Bali Maharaj, he's seated on his plane, on his throne, and he's being, serviced by charmer and peacock feathers, and he's surrounded by his commanders. And his commanders are very strong people. Again, Virochana, his father is one of them. Ilvala, his uncle with Vatapi, they are there, and so many others. And there are, different demons as well as demigods, they are fighting using various carriers, like various animals, lions, tigers, jackals, even rats are identified. And when I heard that, I immediately remembered that Lord Ganesh, his carrier is a musak, a mouse. Yes, it is possible. Timingala fish as carriers that can eat, swallow whales. So they are using, even the water there is fighting going on. And this is happening on the shore of the ocean of milk. And Shankachu is again Panchajana. He is there. So, and Panchajana is in the form of a conch shell. Of course, in Krishna Lila we hear how Panchajana was destroyed and Lord, took away the conch, and that is Panchajanya that he blew at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So as this is going on, it appeared like demigods are winning. And when demigods are winning, Danavas, demons, they actually have illusory powers, right? They are mystics that way. So they cause delusion. So Bali Maharaj, he made a mountain appear upside down on top of the demigods' army. And first thing what happens is, of course, all the stones and boulders, they start falling on the demigod soldiers. And the army is getting crushed under these boulders and stones. Next, burning trees are falling. That is also burning many of the soldiers. And then, of course, in a forest, what lives? Animals. So all these animals, jackals, tigers, lions, elephants, rhinoceros, they are coming and they are destroying demigods. And demigods, they are trying to find a solution, but they are not able to find. So at that time, the demigods, they start meditating on Lord Vishnu. And Lord appears on his Garuna in his 8-arm form, carrying his gada, carrying his chakra, carrying his bows and arrows. And as soon as he appears, just by his side, the dead demigods, demigods who had died on the battlefield, they came back to life. And as soon as he appeared, that illusion was instantly removed. And it is very nicely described. Shukdev Goswami says it was removed as if a dream ends. Once a dream stops ending, so whatever they were saying in the dream goes away. Just like that, Lord appeared. And when he appeared, various demons seeing Lord Vishnu appearing, they start fighting with them. Starts with Kalnemi. Kalnemi was on his lion and he had a trishul, a trident. So he threw his trident to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, with one hand, he got hold of his trident and shot his trident and killed Kalnemi with his own trident. So it's very interesting, Not much effort for him. And similarly, there were other demons who were killed. And also Lord killed, his lion, Kalnemi's lion, the one he was riding. And Shukracharya, he is amazing because he brings back these demons back to life. So this is a place where it is revealed like Shukracharya, he could bring back the dead demons back to life. And Srila Madhvacharya says, yes, Shukracharya brings them back to life, but then Lord Vishnu destroys them again. So they are dead. Now it's very interesting to refer to Kalnemi. Why I said refer to Kalnemi earlier is because Kalnemi in his next birth, he becomes Kamsa. Kalnemi had 6 sons, right? They are also referred to as Shadgarbhas. They were previously Lord Brahma's sons in the previous birth. So when they appeared as Kalnemi's sons, the Shadgarbhas, and at the time of Hiranyakashipu, they were part of Hiranyakashipu's assembly. They were fearing because when Hiranyakashipu had gone to perform sacrifice, demigods had attacked. And these Shadgarbhas, they were thinking that we will be killed by the demigods. So they prayed to Lord Brahma and received a boon that they will not be killed by the demigods. And when they got back, and Hiranyakashipu saw that this is what has happened, he was very upset. He said, okay, you will not be killed by demigods, but in your next birth you will be killed by your own father. So they appeared as the first 6 sons of Devaki in their next birth. It's all so intertwined nicely, Lord's, pastimes. So the Lord, he also killed Mali, Somali and Malyavan who attacked him. So Lord killed the ones who attacked him. It's very interestingly described. And so the battle ensued, and the demigods, seeing that that delusion has gone away, they become energized. And of course, that's where we'll continue in the next chapter, as how demigods, has led by King Indra, were able to defeat the demons' army. Now there are some names that came here that are very interesting. Ilvala and Vatapi. They were uncles of Bali Maharaj. They were actually from Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu. Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons: Samlad, Anulad, Halad, and Prahlad. Halad had 2 sons, Ilvala and Vatapi. Now, Ilvala and Vatapi, they were great mystics. Ilvala especially had the strength to convert and he could convert Vatapi into ram very easily. And this is a trick they used to play. They were used to live in the south of Arunachal area, and there, as they used to live in a forest, and on the main road they had a residence. And when there were travelers who were traveling through, they would say, Ilvala, would invite them at their home to rest and eat, and before they continue on their journey. So many great sages, when they were passing through, they would stop, and Ilvala would invite them and feed them. But what would he feed them? He would perform a sacrifice, and his brother Vatapi, in the form of a ram, he would sacrifice his brother, and later on cook food with his flesh, and then he would feed that flesh to these sages. And then at the end, when they have been fed, he would say, Vatapi atra gacha. Vatapi, come out, come here. And Vatapi, in his ram form, would burst through their stomach and come out. And that's how they were destroying the sages and, acquiring whatever they had, potency as well as whatever their belongings were. So people were very curious, because whoever took the main path through the forest, they would not come back. They said, don't take the main path. So once, Agastya Muni, he was walking and he took the main path. He had heard about this. So Ilvala, seeing Agastya Muni, he said, please come. And of course, he sacrificed his brother Vatapi in the form of a ram, and then, served his flesh to Agastya Muni. And Agastya Muni, he ate. Again, there is a reason why rishis in those times, after the sacrifice, they would eat flesh. There was a proper scientific reason given. Because of the time, we are not covering here, but there is reason given, because otherwise that flesh would create trouble. And those rishis, because they had the austerities, they could do this as part of the normal ecological cycle. So after Agastya Muni, he had eaten, he slowly rubbed his tummy and he said, Vatapi jirno bhava. Vatapi, you please get digested. And then Ilvala said, Vatapi atra gacha. Come out, come here, Vatapi. And nothing happened. And Agastya Muni, he simply smiled. He said, didn't you hear? Vatapi, you please get digested. So I have digested Vatapi. And hearing that, Ilvala, he got up to attack Agastya Muni. And Agastya Muni, he, showed his big eyes and immediately turned Ilvala to ashes. So it's not in the battle of demigods and demons Ilvala and Vatapi got killed. They were killed much later. And we heard about Kalnemi, of course. Shankachuna, of course, that's also later on. Panchajana, also later on. Now, as the battle is ensuing, we'll be covering later on as how the demigods will, they felt energized and they were able to continue the fight and defeat the demons. That we'll be covering in next week's lesson, chapter 11. Now today, there are many auspicious occasions. Today happens to be Venjuli Mahadwadashi. Now some people will say today is Vijaya Ekadashi too. Shishi Ganata Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Kauri Vaishnavind ki jai. Go Premanandi. Hare Krishna. So it's amazing that Indra, who is surrounded by Vayu, Agni, Varun Dev and so many other great demigods, and they are fighting. But the lesson we take is that if one is Vimukha, one has Paranmukhe, one who is not a devotee of the Lord, they have to engage in great endeavor, like the demons were engaged in the churning of the ocean with all their efforts. But what was their result? Disappointment and distress. And further, many of them died because of this battle. While a devotee of the Lord, even though they are deluded at times because of the material energy and the demoniac mentality of materialists, even sometimes great yogis, here these are Vedantists, even Shukracharya is fighting against Brihaspati. So we have to understand that to be successful there is only one shelter. And Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita reveals to Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanihi namahi bhakta pranashati. So a devotee, samsmatya, always remembering this, he takes shelter of the Lord and carries on his duties by serving the Lord. And of course, to be able to serve the Lord, to be engaged in devotional service, there is a very simple process of raising your hand and ask, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So that's the main lesson that we get from this chapter. That, when people try to do mischievous things, the result is bad. When they try to cheat, the result is bad. But when they try to serve, it becomes sat. Sadbhavati. Yat kriyate apratyktvad. Without thinking differently from Lord Krishna's pleasure, when we engage in his pleasure. Now today happens to be Vijaya Ekadashi as well. So there is, Ekadashi fasting going on. And of course there is Vyanjali Mahadwadashi. So there are 6 instances is described in the Shastras as how Ekadashi and Dwadashi can fall on the same day because of the position of sun. And then today also happens to be the disappearance day of Sri Ishwarpuri. So we'll briefly cover the disappearance day of Sri Ishwarpuri, some of his pastimes. Now Sri Ishwarpuri, he was disciple of Sri Madhavendra Puri, right? And he was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hari Bol. So very auspicious day. And as we are, performing our fasting, we should pray to, Sri Ishwarpuri to give us the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Sri Ishwarpuri, he was, when it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he's describing the desire tree of devotion. He's saying that the seed is Sri Madhavendra Puri. And the seed, when fructifies into a sampling, the very soft form, that's Sri Ishwarpuri. And finally, who's the gardener of this, watering this particular desire tree of devotion is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And when this grows into a tree, the trunk is also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And there are 2 branches coming out from this tree, who are none other than Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Acharya. And from there, devotion is distributed, devotional service. So again, bhakti is, the preaching goes on through Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who are also same Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is described that Sri Ishwarpuri, once he was, coming from Gaya, he went to Navdvip. At Navdvip, he stayed, at his Hare Krishna. He stayed at his friend's place, and he was like incognito. He would not show that he was a sannyasi. And he went to a place where Shri Advaitacharya, he was worshipping, his Shaligram, Shila, Tulsi and water. And Advaitacharya Prabhu, when he saw, he was constantly looking at Shri Ishwarpuri, he was getting attracted. And then suddenly, to reveal his identity, he said, and he referred to as Bap. Bap is like father. Oh, father, who are you? And Ishwarpuri responded that I'm just a humble, servant, just, happened to be in the presence of Shri Advaitacharya. And at that time, one of the Kirtaniya, he decided to reveal the symptom of Shri Ishwarpuri, so he started Kirtan. Right? And when he started Kirtan, Ishwarpuri, he became ecstatic and he fell down. And he wet the whole ground with his tears. He was so ecstatic. So at that time, Advaitacharya, he understood that this, is a sannyasi, Ishwarpuri, who's a disciple of Shri Madhavendra. And he embraced Shri Ishwarpuri. And during his time, during the stay itself, once Ishwarpuri, he was walking and he saw, Nimai Pandit. Nimai Pandit was when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was boyish, he was Kumar and further. He was known as Nimai Pandit. At a very young age, he was a great scholar of Sanskrit and he had his own school. So as he was coming with his students, he happened to meet Ishwarpuri and he said, who are you? He felt strange attraction looking at the Lord. And the student said, oh, this is Nimai Pandit. So Ishwarpuri was immediately had an affection towards, and he inquired. So as they were conversing, Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, why don't you come with me to my home and give me an opportunity to serve you prasadam, have lunch with us. So he agreed and he went, and Sachi Mata, she had cooked and of course offered, so the Mahaprasad, all the offerings. So Nimai Pandit himself served Ishwarpuri, the prasadam, and then ate his remnants. So, and it's very nicely described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord first washed the feet of Ishwarpuri, who was just a sannyasi at this moment, and how to welcome a sannyasi, and then offered him a proper seed, offered him Mahaprasad, and then ate his the remnants of the Mahaprasad. And at that time, there was a strange bond that had developed between Ishwarpuri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they would meet often. And once Ishwarpuri, he said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, he said, Nimai, I have written a nice script on Lord Krishna's pastimes. And it would be nice if you could, hear it and read it so you can correct some mistakes I may have made in my Sanskrit. And at that time, Nimai Pandit, he smiled and he said, whatever has been written by Lord Krishna, it's actually written by Lord Krishna. So this is Lord revealing that when Lord writes some pastimes of the Lords are written by the devotees, they are actually written by Lord Shri Krishna. And it later on we can relate to it, that when Srila Prabhupada, he said that I have not written these books, Lord Krishna has written. So we are just an instrument. So the devotees are just an instruments. We're so fortunate to be able to reveal the pastimes. Means Lord reveals through his devotees. It was Shri Rupa, Shri Sanatan, Bhattu Goswami and so forth, who revealed the various pastime locations in Vrindavan. Vrindavan, as we know today, is, revealed by the 6 Goswamis. And Madhavendra Puri started it actually. He revealed Gopal deity. He revealed Govardhan Hill. And then the 6 Goswamis came on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who revealed all these pastimes. So all this spiritual world is revealed to us by the great acharyas. And so later on at Gaya, Lord went and he got initiated by Ishwarpuri in the mantra. And that's when, he got the name Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So previously he was called by different names, Nimai Pandit, Vishwambhara and so many. But then later on, after his initiation, then at the age of 24 he received initiation, and then he took sannyas at the age, earlier actually. At the age of 24 he had taken sannyas. later on by a Mayavadi sannyasi. So there is also a difference as what kind of example Lord is setting. And then his danda was later on broken by Nityananda Prabhu. So what example? So again, there are many wonderful pastimes to meditate on and then to read on to understand what is going on here. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he nicely reveals these secrets to us that could not have been revealed to us even by seeing pratyaksha, Our eyes are defective. Even when Lord Krishna appeared, only a few people knew. It's few hundreds, it's said. Knew that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Most of the people, he just thought that he is a mystic. Of course, he is the king of the mystics, but he is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That secret was not revealed, but the Acharyas, they revealed it to us. So, meditating on that, let's, ask for devotion from our Acharya, Shri Ishwar Puripad and Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nand Kauri Vaishnavind ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vande Krishna Nanda